Becoming rich isn't always about bold moves, risky investments, or flashy success stories. In fact, many wealthy people build their fortunes through simple, boring habits repeated consistently over many years. These habits rarely make headlines, but they quietly create powerful financial results over time. While most people search for quick wins, the truth is that steady discipline often matters far more than dramatic strategies. In this video, we're uncovering the boring habits that quietly make people rich, and why these simple routines can transform your financial future. Paying yourself first, before you pay anyone else. Most people handle money the same way. They get paid, they pay their bills. They spend on whatever feels right, and then, if anything is left, they try to save it. The problem is, nothing is ever left. That is not a discipline issue. That is a system issue. Rich people flip this completely. The moment money comes in, a portion goes directly into savings or investments before a single bill is paid, before groceries, before rent, before anything. This is called paying yourself first, and it changes everything about how your financial life works. When you automate savings at the start of the month, you force yourself to live on what remains. Your brain adjusts, your spending adapts, your lifestyle recalibrates without you even noticing, because you never had that money available to spend in the first place. And your wealth grows quietly in the background without you having to fight yourself every single month. Even setting aside 10 or 15% of your income this way, consistently over years, builds a financial foundation most people never achieve. Not because they could not, but because they never changed the order in which they handled their money. Living below your means, not at or above them. This one may sound obvious, but in practice, very few people actually follow it. Most people spend right up to their income, or even beyond it. When they get a raise, their lifestyle rises automatically. A better car, a bigger apartment, fancier clothes, more frequent dinners out. All of these small upgrades seem natural, even harmless. But this pattern, known as lifestyle inflation, quietly erodes wealth building for millions of people. You could be earning a good income and still never get ahead because every extra dollar is swallowed by higher spending. Wealthy people approach this differently. They are deliberate about keeping their lifestyle growth slower than their income growth. They drive practical cars. They don't automatically upgrade their home or wardrobe every time their paycheck increases. They focus on experiences, relationships, and long-term goals rather than the constant accumulation of material things. The difference between what you earn and what you spend is like the engine of wealth. The bigger the gap, the faster you move toward financial independence. This isn't about deprivation or living miserably. It's about being intentional, making conscious choices to prevent your lifestyle from consuming your future. Every time you resist a lifestyle upgrade you don't truly need, you're making a choice that accelerates your freedom. In other words, controlling lifestyle inflation is one of the simplest but most powerful ways to build wealth. It allows your money to work for you instead of disappearing the moment it enters your bank account. Over time, these small, deliberate decisions accumulate, turning what seems like ordinary financial discipline into extraordinary long-term results. Investing consistently, even when it feels uncomfortable. One of the most powerful forces in building wealth is compound interest. But it only works if you actually invest, and if you keep investing, even when the market is down and everything feels uncertain. The boring habit here is investing a fixed amount regularly, every week, every month, no matter what the news is saying, no matter what the economy looks like, no matter what your emotions are telling you to do. This is called dollar cost averaging, and it removes the near impossible task of trying to time the market perfectly. Most people either never start investing because they do not feel ready, or they stop when things dip because it feels scary to watch their balance go down. Both of those choices are very expensive over time. The people building wealth are the ones who automate their investments and then leave them alone. They know that time in the market matters far more than timing the market, and they let compound growth do what it does best: work slowly, quietly, and powerfully in the background year after year. Starting with even a small amount, invested consistently, produces results that feel almost impossible until you live through them, tracking every dollar that comes in and goes out. This habit sounds tedious, and it is. That is exactly why most people do not do it. But wealthy people almost universally know where their money is going. Not in a vague, approximate way, in a specific, regular, detailed way. They review their spending. They notice patterns. They see where money is leaking out of their lives, and they decide, deliberately, whether that leak is worth keeping or whether it needs to be plugged. You cannot manage what you do not measure, and most people are losing hundreds or even thousands of dollars per year to subscriptions they forgot about, habits they do not even enjoy anymore, and spending patterns they have never examined. Tracking your money does not mean you cannot spend on things you love. It just means you are choosing your spending on purpose, with full awareness, not by accident or out of boredom or social pressure. That one shift, from passive, unconscious spending to intentional, deliberate spending, is worth more over a lifetime than most people would ever believe if you told them. Continuously reading and learning about money. Wealthy people read, not just for entertainment. They read to understand how money works, how business works, how the economy works. They spend consistent time studying investing, tax strategy, financial planning, and economic trends. They treat financial education not as something they did once, but as a skill they are actively and continuously developing. Most people's financial education ends the moment they leave school, which, unfortunately, usually means it never really started. The result is that most people make expensive, completely avoidable mistakes with their money for decades because they simply do not know better. Nobody taught them. Spending 30 minutes a week reading about personal finance, investing, or entrepreneurship might not feel like it is doing much in the moment, but over years, that knowledge compounds, just like money does. It changes how you see opportunities. It helps you avoid traps that cost other people years of progress. It gives you the confidence to make better decisions because you actually understand what you are doing. The investment of time in financial education has some of the highest returns of anything you can put your energy toward. Avoiding consumer debt like it is the enemy. Because it is, not all debt is bad. In fact, some types of debt can actually help you build wealth. Take a mortgage on a home that appreciates in value over time, or a business loan used to generate income that exceeds its cost. These are tools that, when used wisely, can help your money work for you. But then there's the other kind of debt, the type that makes you poorer month after month. High-interest credit card balances, car loans on vehicles you can barely afford, buy now, pay later plans for things you didn't really need in the first place. This is the debt that wealthy people avoid at all costs. They understand how destructive it can be, even if it seems small at first. Interest works both ways. When you invest, compound interest grows your wealth steadily over time. But when you owe money at high interest rates, that same compounding works against you. Paying 15%, 20%, or even 25% interest on a credit card balance every month is one of the most reliable ways to stay financially stuck, no matter how much you earn. The habit that separates financially successful people from everyone else is deceptively simple. If you cannot pay for it in full this month, pause and ask yourself honestly whether you truly need it at all. That single question, when asked consistently and answered honestly, keeps you out of the debt traps that hold millions of people back for a decade or more. It's a boring habit, yes, but its long-term effect is enormous. By avoiding unnecessary debt, you keep your money working for you rather than for the bank. Over time, this discipline builds a foundation that allows wealth to grow. Every purchase becomes intentional, every financial decision a choice, and every month that you avoid high-interest debt is a month that compounds in your favor rather than against you. Building additional streams of income, slowly and steadily. Wealthy people rarely rely on a single paycheck for all of their financial security. Over time, they build additional income streams, usually slowly, patiently, and while still holding their main source of income. This might look like rental income from a property bought and held over many years. It might look like dividend income from a stock portfolio they have been consistently contributing to for a long time. It might look like a small business or a freelance skill that started as something extra on the side. These income streams almost never appear overnight. They are built through years of consistent, unglamorous effort, saving enough to invest in a rental property, reinvesting dividends instead of spending them, working on something additional in the evenings without any guarantee that it will ever pay off. But over time, these streams do compound. They create money that comes in without requiring every hour of your direct time and effort. And that is what real financial freedom actually looks like. Not a single dramatic payday, but multiple quiet, steady streams of income flowing in consistently while you sleep, travel, or spend time with the people who matter to you. Being patient with the process, even when it feels slow. This might be the most underrated habit of all, the habit of thinking long-term. Wealthy people don't focus on weeks or months. They think in years and decades. They understand that real, lasting wealth is built slowly, step by step, and they make peace with the fact that progress often isn't immediately visible. Unlike most people, they do not panic when results take time. They don't abandon a strategy simply because it hasn't produced noticeable gains in 6 months. Instead, they trust the process because they understand how compound growth works. Compounding is subtle at first. Small gains accumulate quietly, but over time, its power becomes dramatic and undeniable. Most people give up just before the breakthrough happens, never experiencing the true payoff of their efforts. The key habit that separates those who eventually succeed from those who are always starting over is patience. It's the ability to stay consistent, to persist even when the results are invisible, and to trust that time is on your side. This mindset isn't just about finances, it's a life philosophy. Whether it's investing, building a business, or developing a skill, patience allows you to weather temporary setbacks and focus on the bigger picture. By staying disciplined and giving your efforts time to grow, you position yourself to benefit from exponential results, rewards that are far greater than anything achievable through quick wins or impulsive decisions. Protecting what you build with emergency funds and proper insurance. This might be the least exciting habit on this entire list, but it is arguably one of the most important. Wealthy people understand that building wealth is only half the battle. Protecting it is just as crucial. They prioritize safety nets that allow them to weather life's unexpected events without derailing their financial progress. One key habit is maintaining an emergency fund. Typically, this means having 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses set aside in a separate account, untouched except for genuine emergencies. They also ensure they have the right insurance coverage, from health insurance to property and life insurance, and they think through scenarios. What happens if they lose their income for a few months? What if a major repair is needed? They have a plan in place so that they're prepared rather than caught off guard. It may sound like basic advice, but the reality is that most people are dangerously unprepared. Many have no emergency fund at all, inadequate health coverage, or no clear plan for even a short-term loss of income. One unexpected event, a medical emergency, a job loss, a car or home repair, can undo years of careful financial planning if you're not protected. These events aren't rare. They happen to almost everyone at some point. The habit that makes the difference is simple and surprisingly boring. Maintain your emergency fund, keep it funded consistently, and review your insurance coverage at least once a year. This way, when life inevitably throws a curveball, and it will, you absorb the impact without sliding backward. You can handle the setback, keep moving forward, and continue building wealth instead of losing years of progress. Wealth is often built through consistency, patience, and small, smart decisions repeated over time. The habits may seem ordinary, but together they can create extraordinary financial outcomes. Which of these habits do you think makes the biggest difference? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos about money, mindset, and building long-term wealth.